Hey everybody, this is our second podcast, so Lotus podcast number 2. Everybody throw the twos. Throw them deuces. No, both hands.
This is 4.
Well, okay, just one hand.
Dude.
Alright, so podcast number 2. We so we have quite a few mistakes that we went through with podcast number 1. We'll go off to the maybe like top 3. If you guys can think of others, we'll talk about those. But
failure.
Failure. Well, yeah, we'll call it failures. Failure number 1. Well, actually, before we start that, let's introduce everybody, and then we'll start with the failures. So, since Sean, you weren't in.
Introduced last time. No, I wasn't.
You weren't even in frame the whole time.
I'm Sean, and I'm the guy that wasn't in frame last time, so it's hi.
So talk about yourself a little.
Okay. I'm Sean. I come from California. Traveled to Arizona a week ago with Andrew and my brother Jared. We're out here doing these podcasts and trying to come up in life on this YouTube channel, and we're gonna be famous one day. So you guys will see.
Let's go. On top of that, we're working out, right?
Working out,
schedule,
drinking water.
Hey, that is important.
That is important. Drink some water, you guys.
Drink water.
Drinking water, staying on schedule, working, reading.
Journaling is a big one.
Well, yeah, doing a lot better.
Vlogging as well.
Vlogging, yeah, editing, photography, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's been great.
Get into it.
All right, so that's Sean. You got to pass it on.
Pass it on.
It's Andrew. I was here last time. I'm from California.
I was here last time.
I was actually in the frame, you know. Yeah, my name's Andrew. Blue eyes.
Yeah. Abraham. I have terrible hair right now. Trying to get a haircut. I actually got a haircut yesterday, but they kind of messed it up. So now I need to get another haircut. Let's go for it. Milky.
Milky, I think I'm blood type AB.
Are you even certain about that?
What? No, but I was gonna make the joke saying that I was in frame last time, and then Andrew said it, and I had no time to think of something else, dude. The entire time you guys were gone getting new batteries, I'm like, all right, that's how I'm introducing myself this time. And I was waiting right for it, and then Andrew said, I'm like, oh, well, that's
there it went. All right.
What's up, Jared? Was in the video last time as well. I have terrible hair too, but I got these curls on the front, so that helps cover it up.
That's right, and he wears a hat, so
yeah,
we good. Gucci. All right, so yesterday was our first podcast. We do want to do these daily, so we got to say the date. Date is October
20th.
20th.
It was like 2020.
2020. Yeah. 10/20/20.
10/20/2020.
Yeah, that's right.
It's pretty cool.
Yep.
It is, right?
October
Mountain
20th,
time zone.
10:06.
It's as of right now, yeah.
As of
Well,
right
what's
now.
the time? It's 10 what?
10:06.
10:06 p.m.
10:06 p.m.
PST Phoenix MT. We got you. All right, so yesterday we failed, and it was quite funny because like none of us knew, but Sean wasn't in frame the whole time, and we had no idea. And so we ended the video, and we're like, all right, let's see how it looks. Like let's just watch this thing, and we're super excited. And it's just 4 of us, and we're all like, "Yo, Sean, where you at?" And he's like, "Oh, I wasn't in frame." And we're like, "Wait, what?" Like we showed a whole podcast without you in frame. It was pretty funny.
He knew he wasn't in frame too.
Okay, in all fairness, I thought we were gonna use some of the footages from the other cameras and different angles to catch me, but didn't end up doing this. No, I wasn't in frame.
Yeah, he was on frame.
The idea was cool. The idea was gonna be like setting up 6 cameras and then cutting to him every once in a while. But then we realized that it was Sean and I editing. That's it. And this is a daily thing, and it's like 40 minutes long. So
This would be quite difficult. Yeah.
that would have had to have been our entire day.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Seriously, we have like 5 computers. We have twice as much monitors, and we don't have enough space on the editing computers yet. We are getting new terabytes or new hard drives, and then we're trying to figure this out. We're trying to streamline this. So While you guys walk, or we continue doing this, you're gonna see a lot of errors starting off, but
Yep.
we got
It's
this.
trial and error, man.
Trial and
Trial and
error.
error until we hire somebody to do it.
Yeah,
Second
hopefully.
error yesterday. The entire time we were talking, we thought this mic was on, and it was not on. So there's no audio
Yeah.
for any of the footage caught on this camera. But we had a couple of GoPros that we were able to like put in the audio. So
Yeah.
this time, hopefully, you can hear us perfectly clear.
Yeah, so if you guys are watching the first podcast, you'll see that you'll see this in frame, but that actually wasn't on or capturing any audio, which was quite funny because we uploaded the video, there was zero audio, and then we were scrambling to figure out how to make it work.
It was a prop.
Yeah, it was a prop. It was a prop. Thankfully, we figured that out. All right, so cool. Yesterday we talked about the games, the first game we ever played, our favorite games.
Soundtracks.
Yeah,
Favorite
favorite soundtracks in games. Today I kind of want to talk about like what we think of gaming in its current state. So like when I grew up, gaming was way different than it is now. So I'd love to know what you guys think. And like obviously there's some generational gaps here. I'm a little older than Sean. Who's younger between
Wait,
you?
He is.
Okay, Andrew's younger.
when's your
I'm 18. I think Andrew's older than I am.
when's your birthday?
August 7th.
Oh, wow. So
Oh,
you're the youngest.
oh, okay, all right,
He's 5 days
all right.
older than you.
He's
Yeah.
5 days
Are you
older.
serious?
Yeah, he's the second.
Dang, all right, we're learning stuff.
All right.
Okay, so Hector is actually the youngest guy here.
I
Okay.
am the youngest.
And what we found out yesterday was really interesting. The first console that I ever played on was an Xbox 360, which is crazy to me because
Blew our minds.
yeah, like blew our minds. The first console I had was probably Super Nintendo, and then I played like Sega Genesis for sure.
64 for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But I was like in first, second grade when that came out. Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about, and the question is, I guess, what do you think of gaming in its current state, and what has changed since you first started gaming?
Am I starting off?
Yeah, you're starting to do the
All
next
right.
one.
The biggest thing that a lot of people know about is now gaming in its current state, anybody can make a game, and if it's a good game, then most likely, a lot of people are going to play it, it's going to get recognition, everything like that, which wasn't really something that happened back then. You just kind of had a lot of big companies making games. At the same time, I feel like there's been a very large shift where there's a lot more heart that goes into a bunch of indie games. Whereas a lot of people don't care about that. And it's kind of like, on one end it's like, all right, there are some games made by AAA companies that are cool, but at the same time I feel like there's some games that should like be getting way more love than they actually are. I mean, one of my favorite examples of that is a game called Binding of Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
It's made by Edmund McMillan. He's worked on stuff like Super Meat Boy, a bunch of games like that. And
Small names.
yeah, he made the game Binding of Isaac like a while back. I'll end up putting the date on the screen. But it was called, it was just a Flash game pretty much. And since then, up until literally a couple months from now where he's releasing the final actual expansion pack for the game, he's been consistently working on this thing, like showing some love into it, and it's honestly really cool.
So what you're saying is, from when you started, the majority of games were developed by large companies.
Pretty
and now
much,
you're
yeah.
seeing a lot of indie games being developed because
Yeah.
game development has grown, but also become easier and more accessible for people that
Yes.
like creating games. And you like that aspect
Yeah,
of it.
I think it's really cool. You get to see the creative works from more than just a corporate
Yeah.
like entity just sitting at the top
Yeah.
of a high
Yeah.
tower.
For sure.
Yeah.
You get to see something worked on by some, I mean, even some college students have come out with some like pretty fun games.
Phasmophobia is like a small like indie company, right?
Is it?
Is it like?
Well, I think it's a
Sure.
small indie company, but I'm not sure. But I don't know too much about the team that's creating it.
I don't know too much about it either, but I know it's like it's a huge game right now. That's like not the best developed, but it's like insanely fun to play though. You know what I mean? Like
There is another one called Bright Memory.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this FPS game being made by like a single guy overseas. And I was playing through it, and it was like it was like a demo. It was like the most fun I had playing like an FPS game in like the
Mhm.
past couple years. Like, this is just one guy working up by himself.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, that is actually dope.
Yeah. I think it goes back to what we were saying yesterday, talking about how gaming is an art and it's like an interactive art.
Yeah.
And like now we're able to, people are able to create really small games that can still build a really great following if the story or the art is good enough, you know? And then it's cool because it's personable because you have those indie game makers that, can post on social media, engage with their fan base, their player base. And that is different. Yeah, it's very different than it was years ago.
Yeah, I just think it's like super cool, dude. Seeing people's creative minds at work.
Yeah. So would you say that you prefer to pick up, like if you had an option of picking up an indie game or a large corporate game, which one would you lean towards?
It depends on which large corporate game it is, because a lot of the recent AAA titles are, albeit a lot of them are still fun, but they're just rehashed versions of the previous title that end up dying before the year is out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like I'm sorry because I know you like Call of Duty, but out of like all of the past Call of Duties that have come out like in the last like 10 years or so, the only old ones that I know about that still have an active following are World at War and Black Ops 2, I think, has gained a larger following than Black Ops 1, and they're both primarily for the modded zombies.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
concept.
say.
It's all
Yeah,
'cause of
zombies.
zombies.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. And then you're kind of in a weird situation where unless you have friends who want to do that with you, or who knows, maybe you like playing zombies by yourself, but unless you have friends who want to do that with you, the games are pretty much dead. They're just kind of sitting there left to rot unless you want to go through and play the story.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
cool.
So that's good Call of Duty, Warzone. Like, that's probably the most amazing Call of Duty they've made since Modern Warfare 2, maybe.
What do you
I would
think?
say.
Which one?
Modern Warfare 2?
Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite Call.
Yeah.
That one and Black Ops.
Yeah.
Black Ops 2 is amazing though. Black Ops 2 is
Black
amazing.
Ops 2 was
was really good.
That's the introduction of zombies.
No, Black Ops. No, World at War.
World at War was
the
the introduction.
to zombies.
And does Black Ops 2?
Every Black Ops
Black Ops,
has
has zombies, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And which one's the more famous zombies?
Probably.
Probably
the first
World
one.
at War
Modern
and
is
the
World
first
at
one.
War.
the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Gotcha.
There's
Yeah.
a lot.
In my opinion.
Kino,
There's-
Toten,
Yeah, they had that one.
a lot of
Simpson City.
Yeah, a lot of-
5 was a huge map as well.
Oh, yeah, 5 was
five.
the Pentagon, yeah. Was that on?
That was Black Ops.
1 though. That was not World at War. That was Black Ops.
That's Black Ops 1.
No, yeah,
The
that's
only
Black Ops 1.
map on World at War was Knock. Knocked
Yeah.
on Toten.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, Jared, question to you. Same.
How has it evolved? It's kind of hard for like me. I would say us as our family, because since a kid, I've grown up on PC gaming. Like my whole family,
Yeah.
since I've been a
primarily,
kid, has
yeah.
always. My dad has built his PCs. My uncles, like it's literally our whole family has been growing up on PC. So as a young kid, I grew up playing GameCube, obviously, but then Halo. I remember my dad came home with Halo, the first original Halo on Xbox. My mom blew up because he spent so much money on it. But like,
Oh, man, that's
Renegade, Red Alert, the old Command and Conquers. Like those are things that we grew up on LAN parties where all of us would be in our house with 4 or 5 different computers, LAN together, just playing together. So
Those
like
are the days.
for me, it's like I've always been around PC gaming, but like recently, I would say PC gaming has grown huge, and like that's pretty much
Exponentially.
exponential. That's what like
Exploded, yeah.
if you're famous or if you're a famous Twitch player or whatever, like you're probably playing on a PC. You're like that's where you're making it's all on PC, which is I think is awesome. And I know more and more people are starting to get into PC, which I think is super cool. So for me, it's kind of hard to say how much it's evolved, other than like everyone else is kind of getting into it with like.
I think that's a great perspective. I think what you're saying is, it initially started off with consoles, right? Like
Yeah,
consoles were the
consoles
majority.
were normal.
Everything.
Yeah,
that's,
that was
that's
norm.
the norm. But like
And it's shifting to PC.
to PC, which I think is better though, because one, it's like your own PC. Like everyone creates their own PC, which is like their own little like their baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you create it how you want it, how you design it. You pick your tower, you pick your RGB, whatever you want to put inside, and it's like it's custom. It's your own. You also build it, and a lot of people are building them too, which is like really cool too. So I don't know, like I like that whole shift into the
Yeah, it's
PC
really cool.
PC world. It's one that looks better. It's more competitive. It's faster paced. So I do love how everyone's kind of shifting more towards that, and I hope everyone kind of continues to go towards that. Obviously consoles, I don't think are ever gonna die out though. But I would say that the whole PC world just is kind of growing, and I think that's really really cool.
Would you also say that like since it started, like everyone, consoles were the norm, consoles were what was sold the most, PC gaming was kind of niche and small, and it's been growing exponentially, obviously, and right now it's massive.
Yeah.
Do you think that casual gaming in consoles, like people in general were essentially casual gamers, but now competitive gaming is starting to become the norm?
Yeah. I think if you want to be a competitive gamer, like you could obviously competitive game on console, but I just don't. If you're trying to market it and that's what you want to do for possibly a career or Twitch streamer or something, like I just don't think console is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
One, like I'll example with Apex on PS4, like super easy, dude. Insanely easy.
Yeah.
Dude. Insanely. I have so much more wins on my PS4 than on my PC, and you go to PC and it's just like. You get wiped out. You get destroyed instantly. The reaction time is faster. The control for mouse and keyboard. I remember growing when I was a freshman, I would like talk about playing on PC, and people were like, "Oh, mouse and keyboard." Like,
yeah.
You remember how mouse? And it's just like they'd make fun of me, and I was like, "Dude, like."
And
that was 10 years
shifted,
ago.
yeah.
That was literally 10 years ago. People would make fun of me for like playing with the mouse, and then like now it's like, dude, that's like, dude, that's the norm. So, I think it's cool just how it's shifting towards like a whole different from console to PC.
I'd like to verify. I know it's not possible anymore, but on PS4 or Xbox, were you able to bunny hop on Apex?
No.
Only PC.
You're pretty
and then
limited
they
in your movement options.
And then they patch. Did they patch bunny hopping on Apex?
You can't do it anymore.
Yeah. But like when it first came out, bunny hopping you were not able
So it was only PC.
Yeah, it was only PC.
Okay.
So
cool.
You just can't really bunny hop on console, I don't think, because
it's quite tough. Yeah.
Well, because of the key, it's limiting because of the keys and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know if it is possible.
Because you put jumping on scroll and you just
you're just pressing
you're just going like this.
Or you could scroll it. Yeah.
And you're just bunny hopping. That's where my jump is. So like you just scroll and you're just like.
I don't remember if I was pressing it or I was just scrolling, but yeah, it was pretty easy.
It's like super easy. Yeah. So yeah, that's like I just like how the whole gaming world is kind of shifting more towards PC. That's I guess I'd say my
that's a great perspective.
My perspective of it.
Yeah. All right, so how's gaming changed from when you started gaming to where its current state is right now?
From when I started to where it's at now, shoot, man, games have changed a lot. Video games have changed tremendously. I mean, if you look at from playing on the old GameCube, I remember playing on the old GameCube in the house out in the country, man, and it was fun. And then like having all those old games, Need for Speed, Most Wanted, we had that game. That game was fun. And I think they're making a remake on that one soon. And then Tony Hawk and stuff like that. All those games were just awesome. And then you look at the games that they have now that are relatively similar, and they just blow them out of proportion. So they just look way better. Everything's runs a lot smoother. Graphics in general, it's insane.
Yeah. Quality
Quality
gone up.
Just the video game itself is insane. But like Hector said, I think the better it gets, the better games are gonna start to die out. The better games now are probably gonna start to die out, if that makes sense.
What do you mean?
What do you think that?
No, like as the years go on, the games that we have now, we're gonna look back at them and be like, oh my gosh, like how we look back at the games,
that they might not be good.
Yeah, but still gonna, for sure. I will, like you said, like Tony Hawk though, and like Need for Speed. Those are all split screen games. You know, you grew up playing on split screen. I just like
and that doesn't exist anymore.
Split screen is not a thing anymore.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is like before it was like in home and just like your friends and family that would play within a house. And now it's so open.
It's all separate. You need. Which I would say could be like kind of a bad thing because it's like you need 2 Xboxes or 2 PS4s or 2 PCs or something.
It's great for the companies.
I mean that's probably why they started doing that. Like yeah, like back in the day, Xbox 360, split screen, Halo 3, boom, 4 people just playing. You know, no screen peeking. You know.
Yeah, no screen peeking. Oh my god.
Like
It's been years.
Yeah,
Wow,
that
that's
doesn't exist
crazy.
anymore. Kids are gonna grow like, what's screen peeking? What's that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
insane.
That reminds me. Did y'all ever hear about that game? I can remember what the game looked like. I can't remember the name. The whole premise of it is, it was you could play up to 4 people, online, anything, and the whole point of it is no matter what, the screen is divided into the parts of every player, and the premise of the game is you have to kill the other person, but they're invisible, and the only way that you can actually find them is by looking at their screen.
That's pretty cool. That's
It was
pretty
like-
cool.
I remember seeing it,
never heard
and I was like, "Oh look, Andres, one of my friends." I'm like, "You'd be perfect at this game."
Because he was a screen peeker. He was throwing shade. He was throwing shade.
And yeah, we ended up we didn't play too much of it, but it was still like a super interesting concept, and it was like just really funny.
You're
Yeah.
actually just looking at other people's screens.
I know.
The whole time,
Whoever
yeah.
the winner was could be made fun of. 'cause
And you're
of
also
how
trying to
good they
run
are,
away
yeah.
from them if you know they're
Yeah.
close to you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It is a
That's a cool concept, yeah.
Something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It was
had never heard of
definitely
it. Yeah, I've
it's
never heard
the
of it.
best. Who's the best screen peeking? that's the true skill of that game.
They wanted to test everyone that was actually good at screen peeking or identify who those people were. All right, Andrew, what do you think? Where was it? Where is it now? What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna agree with Sean on a little bit of it, but he did say that the newer games are better. And in my opinion, the graphics in newer games such as like Call of Duty, or actually let's compare. What is it? I think it's Midnight Club. You guys ever play that?
Well,
Midnight
with,
Club. It's a car
racing
game.
one.
Yeah, the car game.
Yeah.
That's like a really old but good car game. It's super good. And I feel like the Forza Horizons, the Forza Horizon 4, or whichever one just came out, have literally no comparison. Like the graphics are insane, but it's literally just the same stuff on a different console, better graphics, which I feel like is kind of boring. So I just feel like with all the newer games coming out, it's just getting boringer.
There's less things to do.
There's
Less
new.
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like recycled content.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
No, I
it's
get
a
what you're saying,
recycled
yeah.
topic.
Forza, all the Forzas and like Gran Turismos for like racing games are all relatively the same. The graphics probably get better, but like they're all like the
cars
driving
are the
mechanics of
same.
everything are pretty like.
Yes, the
Like, I don't know
tuning
how-
is the
yeah, the
same.
tuning- yeah, everything's
literally everything
the
is the
same.
same. It's not.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, Midnight Club and like that was more like a Need for Speed though, where you like
Midnight Club,
street
oh,
race
heck
and you
yeah,
like
Midnight
go all like that. Yeah, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, I'm just like, dude, Midnight Club's the best.
I remember that game. Yeah.
I think it is interesting though. Like, I like a lot of older stuff. I think that's just like my personality. But I could agree. And if you look at like top 10 lists, a lot of the oldest games or older games are on the top 10 list. Very few new games are on there. I don't know if it has to do more with maybe more.
It's recycled, dude. A lot. I feel like a lot of it is just they recycle stuff because they see it. Where like back then it was probably just original. Like, dude, nothing.
Right, but
never
like,
seen anything
okay,
else.
so like, what would your argument be if you think of, let's think of Zelda, right?
Mhm.
How many Zeldas are there? Over 20. I don't know if that's true, but
Uh,
a lot. Over a dozen.
There is a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
a lot. And then is Zelda?
Wind Waker.
No, not Wind Waker.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but is there a new one? I think there's a new
Yeah,
one.
they're creating a
They're
second
making
one.
Yeah.
It's like, is it part 2 of Breath
Yeah,
of the Wild?
part 2 of Breath of the Wild. They're
Okay, let's
continuing
just say
the
Breath
story.
of the Wild. Like that game came out, right? And how many times has Zelda games come out, right? Like on any Nintendo console, and there's over a dozen of them, I'm sure.
I
Like
think-
that game comes out, and it quickly becomes one of the greatest games of all time.
I think they do about 2 per new console release.
Mm.
Because I want to say, well, GameCube had a bunch, but
GameCube had a lot.
the Wii had Twilight Princess. It's weird because they kind of interchange their stores with one another. If it comes out on one store, I mean, it's going to come out on the other stores. But I mean, I know there's quite a bit that came around around then. But Breath of the Wild was pretty much kind of like the big thing for the Switch.
Right. So
So
like
that was the.
it's a, you know, saying it's like repeat content or refurbished content, but then, you know, Zelda comes out brand
Yeah.
new, and then it's
Yeah,
just
I
like-
mean,
literally.
certain makers though are just gonna always kind of like Bethesda, you know, like they kind of just make good games. You know what I mean?
They just kill it.
They just kind of put Skyrim on a new console every couple years.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's still happy. Everyone's super excited. I remember Derek, I think Skyrim was getting on the Switch, and he was like the happiest person ever. I'm like, yo, Skyrim came out like 10 years ago. How long has it been now?
Yeah, it's probably 2012 came out. No, 2011.
2011?
11. I want to say it came out.
almost
11
10
came
years.
out on my birthday. 11/11/11.
Yeah.
I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Came out. That's
Dude,
when it came out.
it's...
I remember like going to school the next day, and my choir teacher was like, "Bro, I was at GameStop at like midnight for the release." Like, I stayed up till like 2 in the morning.
One of my teachers actually was it Halo 3 that you got the Master Chief helmet with for like midnight releases or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't remember.
Maybe.
It was
Yeah,
it was like some Halo memorabilia thing, and he like brought it to school the next day. He's like, "Yeah, I remember staying up till like midnight so I could get this," and I was thinking, "Oh my god, this guy's like a dweeb."
And now you would do the exact same thing.
I would do
Like,
the
Binding of
exact
Isaac comes out, but you have to go
Alright.
to GameStop. You're gonna be there at 12 a.m.
That being said, I love Devolver Digital. They're like one of my favorite game companies, and there is something just completely stupid. Odds of it ever making a huge impact in my life, minimal to none. They have a arcade cabinet of one of their other games, Enter the Gungeon, where it is, from my understanding, it's the game, but it's on an arcade cabinet, completely like not customized, but like decorated to look like the game. I think it's called the Enter the Gungeon House of the Gundead or something. It's like $3,500, and that is something that I will buy one day. It's the coolest thing that I've ever seen for game merch.
Yeah.
The coolest gaming merch, 3,500.
Boom.
It's hilarious.
It's an arcade cabinet, though.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
It's
I
cool.
mean,
It's cool.
that's pretty dope.
No, I can understand it. Yeah, I can get it. I mean, a lot of people have spent a lot of money on League of Legends, Apex, Fortnite,
Yeah.
World of Warcraft. I mean, there's so many games out there that people spend quite a lot of money on. All right,
Sucks. I can never play World of Warcraft now.
dude, World of Warcraft's great,
Dude, people got like 14 years on me. I'm just not gonna.
but it's such a fun game. It's incredible.
It's
The
serious.
world's like constantly expanding too. They're always
Yeah.
adding like new expansions.
It's scary.
I
I've heard that
this,
like
like-
some of the older World of Warcraft players are like really mean. And
Possibly.
one of my friends, René, started playing it, and I guess like he was using an item or something, and like some like veteran player who had been playing it for like 10 years was like, "Yo, this guy's a noob." And I'm like, "Dude, what the hell?
This guy's a noob.
People like this do not exist anymore, do they?"
He's not using an ice pick. That's a
Yeah,
Ragnarok.
yeah,
That's a
I-
Ragnarok reference.
Dude, I heard about that, and I was like, "Oh, maybe World of Warcraft ain't it? Maybe." I was gonna play it, and it's like, "Oh, you need to pay to play it, a monthly subscription." I'm like, "I'm not paying a monthly
Yeah,
subscription for a
that's-
single video game."
Oh, it's so great, man. I love
That was
it,
like
man.
the issue. Of
RuneScape's
Final
free.
Fantasy 14.
RuneScape's
Dude,
free.
some people still play RuneScape.
Well, they
A lot
just
of people
added it to
do,
the
yeah.
Steam store.
Oh,
I think it's jumped up to the top sellers last I knew.
Wow.
Because it's literally downloadable from the Steam store. You get it, you start playing it. I think I'm actually gonna download it tonight.
Dude, it looks so bad. The game looks terrible. I never got into it. It's like I just didn't understand the game, but
I might
like.
as well try to play it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you never got into it? Or?
No, I never
Oh,
played
okay.
it. I barely got
Oh, if
a
you're gonna do
computer.
that, we might as well play like Final Fantasy 14 or something. We can all play that. All right, you guys. The camera died. Actually, didn't die on us. The SD card ran out of space, so we just did a quick little technical issue. So we just swapped SIM cards. And Hector just finished explaining how he has the worst luck with PCs. And right after that, I said Hector has the worst luck. Period. And then
The lens.
Yeah, the lens just went in and the camera stopped, which was quite funny. So we were just talking about, just to give a quick recap, the question was where was gaming in its when you started gaming, how was gaming and what is gaming in its current state? Like, what have you seen evolve and change since you first started gaming? And Hector's response, please correct me if I'm wrong, was that early on when he first started gaming, it was AAA titles, large corporations making large games, and there's very few indie makers. And the thing that he loves now more than anything is that there's a lot of indie makers, and he likes playing indie games. It's one of his preferable, go-tos.
Yeah, that is definitely true. I mean, whole Steam library, alone, I think I have like 17 to 1800 hours in Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
And the closest AAA,
Yeah, wild.
The closest AAA title that like comes to it is I think like Apex, so like maybe like 230 hours.
Oh wow, that's not even close. Yeah. So his preference is indie games, and so he saw the evolution of large corporations to indie game makers, games becoming more accessible, developers having more tools, being easier to develop, and then there also being a lot more gamers than there's been. So that was his answer.
Yep.
Jared, I think
The shift from just like console to PC kind of.
Yeah, so he was saying growing up, everyone had consoles. Not very many people had PCs. People kind of made fun of you because you played on PCs.
It would like they for some I don't know why they thought it was funny with throwing to the mouse like I remember these two pretty girls like making fun of me, dude, and I was like, because that's when Black Ops 1 came out, and they're like, oh, we love Black Ops 1, and I was like, okay, yeah, I played it on the PC, it's pretty cool, and they're like, PC, you mean with like a mouse? And I'm like,
you mean with the mouse?
Dude,
like,
their picture of Jared was like the one episode in South Park where they all get into World of Warcraft. Like that's what they pictured Jared as.
That's hilarious.
That's a great episode.
So the biggest change that he's seen is people moving over from console to PC and the evolution of PC gaming as a whole.
Yeah.
I personally think, this is just my opinion, that PC gaming has always been like the best way to game.
Yeah, 100%.
But now more and more people are realizing it. And the other thing is, is Andrew saying no? Yeah, Andrew's just like no. Well, we grew up PC gamers, dude. We're like early 2000s.
People just can't get it though. They like the keys are like it's like a whole other thing.
Yeah, it's very different.
And it's just like WASD, dude.
Yeah.
That's it.
The other thing that he had mentioned was that it was very casual gaming, and now it's becoming more and more competitive. So that was the main shifts that he's seen. Sean was talking more on the graphical side, how games have just, year over year, just progressed substantially.
Blown other games out of proportions when it comes to stuff like that. The graphics and all that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
The quality's improved.
Death Stranding.
Beautiful. Death Stranding, one of the most beautiful games.
I've never seen it.
It's a really nice game.
What's it called?
It's the
Death
one.
Stranding.
It's the one where you walk across from the.
He talks about it.
But the video, everything is just great graphics.
You play as Norman Reedus.
Yeah, it's from.
No way.
Walking Dead. It's his character.
It's his character. You play as Norman Reedus, and then you have it's like they call it BBs. It's like a baby on your chest, and there's like monsters or demons, I don't know, that you fight in the game, and when you come across one, you'll have this little thing that'll pop up over your shoulder, and it'll flash, and it'll let you know that one's there, and then your baby would also start to sense it and maybe start crying, and you could feel it in the controller.
Oh, that's really cool.
Something's coming and say, okay, it's
very
crazy
cool.
game.
Yeah, crazy game.
Was there anything else, Sean, that you've noticed? And anything I'm missing?
No,
just the graphical leaps.
Just the way graphics have come over through time.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And Andrew was talking about just the quality of games. So his perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that the quality of game storytelling, just the fun factor was far greater in older games than it is now.
Yeah.
So he kind of sees, even though there's more beautiful games, he thinks the content's a little bit less quality, right?
Yeah, because it's not original. It isn't. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's all washed up.
Cool. So,
It's
I think the biggest change that I've personally seen, there's probably a couple, but I would say a big one, and I would say maybe the biggest that I think, it's very hits close to home, was gaming when I was younger was looked down upon. It was a very at least for me personally, right? My parents didn't appreciate that I played games. I didn't own a console until his mom gifted me a console for my birthday when I turned 4, which was a Sega Genesis for my 4th birthday. I remember that.
I was 1, so
and my parents were too happy about that. And I think that console broke within the first year. It wasn't me, but we won't go into that story.
Yeah, I don't remember the gen.
Yeah.
The only time I remember playing Genesis was at my Uncle Joe's on my dad's side. I don't remember playing Genesis.
I was so happy. And then I started PC gaming when I was about 8. and but my parents hated that I played games. Like, I mean, they absolutely hated it. And you know, where I grew up, there wasn't like, I mean, gaming wasn't big back then. Like, it was nowhere near as big as it is now. So it was like looked down upon, and it wasn't like something that was respectable. It wasn't a respectable profession. There was no way to make money. It was nowhere near what it is now. And now gaming shifted where like people respect gaming. A lot of people play games now. I would say the majority of people play games now.
Athletes, famous athlete, AOC.
She was streaming today.
On stream, like insane.
Playing with who was it?
Pokemon.
Pokemon. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was playing with Pokemon and someone else. I can't remember his name. It's another
Big,
famous
some
Twitch
big
streamer.
heads.
It's a career now, which is
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, absolutely crazy. So I would say like one of the things is like, like it went from something that was, you know, in some households looked down upon. Maybe now it's, you know, being encouraged.
Still probably looked down upon by some people.
Sure.
Some households,
Some.
yeah.
But I think that goes along with a lot of different professions.
Yeah, that's
you know?
true. Yes.
Like,
People-
I think it's becoming something that in the future is going to be, you know, widely accepted. I already think it's widely accepted, but
yeah.
I think, so I think that's like the biggest change that I've personally seen. And I think it's awesome. I think it's great. Like, I mean, yesterday the stuff we were talking about is like how much we care about gaming, the games we first played with, the games that we love, the music, the art form. I mean, I think it's awesome. And I'm like really glad that this has happened because I do remember, you know, going to school and being made fun of because I played like online games or I played World of Warcraft. It was just very, very different time.
Nerdy Final Fantasy, like, dude, I'll talk League in front of some people sometimes, and like, there's this guy named Michael at work. He plays League, and we'll start talking about League and our magic is this and this. And people are just like looking at us, like, you guys are nerds, and I'm like, you're just not smart.
You're not with the times.
You're not
man.
smart
You're
enough
not
to
with-
comprehend this, man. My bad. Like,
You're not with the
that's just,
times.
yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, for sure.
And I think it's been great, man. The gaming industry just keeps growing. It's becoming more and more.
It's also just, it's not easy, dude. Like, streamers stream for 14 hours straight, 24 hours straight. Like, no professional athlete does, like, they don't train for 14 hours straight. You know, they train for 2-3 hours and then they call it a day or something like that. Like,
Yeah, but they're probably still thinking about like strategy.
Yeah.
I do think it's like part of their day-to-day life, and even though physically they can't train, you know, 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, it's still something they think about constantly.
Yeah.
Although I will say, being a professional esports person does take an enormous amount of skill, and I do know there are some professional athletes out there, or expert athletes out there that think esports should not be considered a sport, which I vehemently disagree with because I understand the amount of skill, knowledge, dedication it takes to become a professional player. It's quite difficult, and not anyone can do it. So, commend all you guys out there.
Tell one.
Dude, you gotta put in quite a bit of effort.
Oh, an enormous amount of effort.
I mean,
that's what makes me so happy. They're being rewarded now. Where before it was like you're a joke, you're wasting your time.
You're just doing it for fun.
You're not making money.
Yeah.
And now it's like you're the best in the world and you're able to live off of it. And it's great because it's good content. You like people enjoy the game you're playing. It's just, one of the things we talked about yesterday is how it's an escape for us. And like if you're one of the best, you can make money from it and then also help people escape from either watching you or from learning from your skill, which I think is really cool.
I'll add on that. It's crazy too. Is like back in the day, like watching as a kid, watching someone play the game was the worst. I was like, dude, my turn. I want to play a game.
Yeah.
And it's like now, it's like, nah, it's all good, dude. I'll watch you play. Like, I'll sit here and watch you play. Like we watch other people play games. I remember there's this guy. I work at Walmart, so there's this customer, and he came. And he was like, yeah, my grandkid just watches people play games. I don't get it. And I was like, yeah, man, I don't get it either. And I was like, dude, it's like a whole like 40-year-old dude like smoking a cigarette above, and I was like, yeah, man, I don't get it either. Like, definitely don't watch people play video games.
I'd never do that.
Yeah. So it's like I think it's crazy how like it's just we enjoy watching people play. Like I love watching certain people play games. I go and I want to see that they're professional, so they have different strats, ways of thinking of the game, and then they're entertaining as heck. And it's dude, sometimes I'll rather watch you play the game than me play the game because it's just more fun.
Yeah, I'm quite skilled, so I appreciate that. Okay. So next question. One of the things that I think is I mean, I love the gaming industry, and I talked about yesterday, is I definitely want to figure out a way where my career or my primary business is in esports or gaming, and it's something I've been working towards since 2017. And there's been a ton of ups and downs, but it's something that I actively want to pursue, and we're continuing to pursue. But one of the things that I have noticed that has changed dramatically, and that was kind of going to be my second point, from what gaming was to what it is now. And it's primarily in esports. I wouldn't say it's in casual gaming or a lot of other games, but in esports, in specific AAA esports games, there is a level of toxicity that is so high that it baffles my mind that it's it happens. I haven't played League of Legends in years, and it's one of the games I love the most. I'll jump into a game, and people will say the meanest, cruelest things I've ever heard. And they don't know me. They don't know why I accidentally missed Flash. And it's just one of the things that I do think is negative. I think it's I do think it's a bad thing. But in another, in another argument, one can say it's cool because it's a full expression. Gaming is one of the places you can be fully expressive and say things you might normally say in any other scenario or position you may be in. But the question is we'll start with so we started with I think Hector. We'll go Sean.
What's up?
What is your thoughts on gaming toxicity? Are you for it? Are you against it? And is there anything that you can think of that can be done to improve it?
Oh shit, dude! I think I'm part of the toxicity.
Full honesty here. He's part of the toxicity.
I'm being completely honest. I'm probably part of the toxicity. I think that with Call of Duty, especially Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the new one. Now that it came back, it's like the old days, man. Everyone on chat is just screaming, yelling, just profanities, everything. It's just insane, and it's just an insane thing to hear, and also sometimes watch, because YouTubers just don't care. They just put out their content. They don't care, and so it's funny to watch and see. So if anything, I'm kind of for it, man.
Okay,
I'm a little
all
for it. I like that. I like the toxicity. It makes the game a little bit interesting. It makes it more fun, man.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Does it affect you at all?
Toxic? No.
So someone can say some of the worst things to you you've ever heard, and you just don't. It doesn't bother you.
I find it funny, man. I find it actually,
all right.
That's fun.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Why are some of the reasons you participate in it?
People get me mad.
Oh man.
People get me. It's Modern Warfare. It's probably I'm the most toxic on Modern Warfare, man. I talk so much crap to the enemy team. I don't
To the enemy team?
To the enemy team, because I play a lot of Search and Destroy, and after you win a round, it's just all the same chat. The enemy team, my team, all the same chat. So it's just a freaking...
For 10 seconds,
yeah,
you're going to talk all the
seconds,
smack you want, and
all
then go
the
back.
smack you want, and then go back to, all right, guys, go
Focus.
beat these guys. This guy said this about you. We're going to freaking destroy him, man. We end up losing or winning, and it's either way, it's GG at the end of the game, and it's fun.
Do you think that it's something that the companies, I'm not saying they encourage it, but they allow it? Because it is kind of, I'm sure they have all the data in the world that says if you link both groups at the end of it, the enemy team and your team at the end of it, that there's going to be an exchange of words. Do you think the companies knowingly do that on purpose, or it's just a UI UX thing that's, they don't really care or decide to change?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that companies just don't care. I mean, some do care, I'd say, You'd get a lot of like Activision. I know that they've kind of cracked down on the toxicity a little bit, and especially in Warzone and stuff like that. They kind of cracked down on it, but they can only go so far with limiting it. Besides just completely taking out the communication between you. So they can't really. I'd say they can, but I don't think they will. So it's more like they're just gonna leave it be.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so you're for it.
Yeah, I'm for it.
All right. I like his yeah. All right, Jared, what's your thoughts on that?
Remember, you're a reformed man.
No. We gotta this full disclosure. Riot. This is my nephew. He's a good kid. He's been here for 2 weeks. We followed a strict schedule. We've been working out. We've been eating clean for the most part. We're working every day. I would say way longer than an 8-hour day. And like he spent over $1,000 on a game. You know, like, this is my nephew, man. I've seen the change. He is no longer
right. You got him to play the game for free, and he still spent over $1,000 on it.
And then you took it away.
And I still
because he was actually kind of being nice. But we can talk about that later.
It's a different story.
Yeah, that's a different story for another day. If you could please give him back his account. What was it?
Gnarlio. GNARLIO. Gnarlio.
And then
it's like Gnar and Galio, because I love you guys' game so much, combined. Gnarlio. Literally, that's literally the name. And it was because I was playing a lot of Gnar at the time.
we need support. If you guys are watching this, if you guys can comment, share, tweet at Riot. What else can they do? Message Riot.
I'm no Tyler 1, but you know what? Hey, they did it for him, so why not me?
Why not him? All right. So
toxicity. I'm kind of for it, man. Like, there's like, it's fun, dude. You just talk a little. I'm just for. Okay, I know. On League of Legends,
he's reformed.
I don't go off on people anymore for like stupid things. I also kind of just, if you don't like what someone is saying to you, that's the reason there's a mute button.
Oh.
You just mute. Oh. And it's over. Get over it. It's also like it's a random person from a random place that I don't know. Like, I shouldn't let those words affect what it means to me. That doesn't. They don't know me. They don't actually. And if they were in my face, they wouldn't actually say that to me. Cause like no, I mean,
have you seen his guns? I mean, come on.
Yeah. But I'm like, it's kind of fun, dude. Like, teams, like, you just smack talk, you know. I mean, you could be going too far with it, and you could say some like. There are times where I get on League and people are just like, "Kill yourself," and it's like, well, okay, like, dude, like. I just died once, like. Sorry, like, I'm not.
I accidentally missed Flash because I got a call from my mom.
You know, some people definitely go too far, but that, like, me personally, when they start going too far, and I know it actually does get me mad to where it's gonna affect my gameplay, I literally will just mute the button, mute my whole team, and if they continue to talk to me, I don't know, and I just try to focus on the task at hand and playing the game. So
that's some good advice.
That's just how I see it. But like on Call of Duties or Halo, yeah, you go in the lobby, dude, and like you could just get into some. I love like just talking smack. It's kind of fun, you know. Like you could see who come up with the better comebacks or who could burn who the most, you know. And like there'll be times where you go to Call of Duty lobby and someone will just burn you, and then like you're like, oh, I got burned. Kind of like I gotta take it or whatever, you know what I mean? And you try to get him back. So I think it's also like it's getting in the enemy's head. You could totally. There's so many times where you trigger people on League of Legends, ruins their game, and then they play worse, and then you win them.
Sure.
And then like that's a strategy, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think I'm for it, but there is a level where you could cross the line. There are lines that could be crossed, and you could say like some pretty harsh things, but overall, I'd say it's just like, I guess, controlling it and like having like a certain amount of respect for the people, but also like you know, a little smack talking's fun. Like we all kind of do it in video games. So I'd say I'm for it, I guess, especially because it's hard to control what people are going to say to you. You can't control what anyone's going to say. That's without taking their freedom of speech or whatever and whatnot. So I'd say I'm for it, but like just there are lines that you could cross as a person. Yeah. And like you could be a total jerk, and if your life and in real life, which I'm not the way I am on a game in real life. I would
yeah.
never be that. So it's completely different. You know what? I'm completely respectful for people.
Keyboard warriors, man.
Keyboard warrior. Yeah, keyboard warrior. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the guy I'm telling off is like some 6'2" huge dude that can totally like beat me up, but like, yeah, I guess that's just my point of view on it. Obviously, other people have other things. You know, people could get affected by a word from a person that they don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess you got to think of that too. Like, people definitely go through their own things, and you could say something to someone that could hurt them. Which I guess that's good. You know, I guess as a whole in the world, emotions are like becoming more of a thing. Like, everyone's trying to be nicer as people, which is nothing wrong with that at all. If anything, it's better. But yeah, there's that line. You know, you just gotta like realize where that line is, and you could go too far, and you know.
Yeah, I think to circle back to your earlier point, like with you specifically, and I think it's good advice for everyone watching, is if it gets to the point where it starts affecting you, you know, maybe mute them or just like try to stay away from that situation or make it worse. Because it does suck. Like, you know, you might play a game and then like your whole mood gets changed and like you might have a bad day or you might not sleep well because, you know, things were exchanged over a game. And in the end, we all play games for fun and to kind of escape. And like, I do think one of the things that it shouldn't be is something that negatively impacts us in our day-to-day lives just because of, you know, some toxicity. So I think that's great advice. All right, Hector.
All right.
So let's hear you.
Dude, usually I say some pretty bad things. This time,
that's a 3 for 3 on the toxicity.
I think people being toxic in games can be, well, it could be two ways. Like you were saying, some people just go too far and it's like, it's not even funny at that point. Majority of the time, it's pretty funny. Still, one of my favorite moments is me and my friends were playing Halo again. Some guys were arguing. Some guy's like, boy, shut up, I smooch your mom on the daily. And that is still the funniest thing I've ever heard in a game chat. Like, between
it's not even that far, man. That's just funny, bro.
Yeah, that is kind of funny, though.
And then, like, they're just going back and forth. And he's like, nah, you don't even know my mom. He's like, yeah, dude, she's in bed with me. He's like, where are you? Like, in bed with your mom. Where?
Keep it down for the
PG,
podcast.
PG. But dude,
PG-13.
I think it's even better when games introduce ways to try to get people to not be toxic by only adding like hotkeys that say already like predetermined messages. Because then it's just funny spamming certain messages over and over again. And I'm trying to. For Honor is actually a really good example of that. That game, there is no communication between the two teams, and the way that it works is you could hit a key. Yeah, you could hit a set of keys or whatever, and it displays a message like "good fight" or "sorry," stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my friends have agreed that is the game that has gotten all of us the most upset while playing. Because nothing feels worse than like almost winning a fight. Other three teammates show up, completely decimate you, and then all of them start spamming the same keyword over and over again. It's like, oh no, dude, come on.
I think that's an interesting point because what I've noticed in competitive League of Legends is they start doing those little pop-ups, what do they call it?
The little emotes?
Yeah, the emotes. They start doing the emotes.
Yeah, you'll get ganked and
more annoying.
And it's professional gaming. They're at Worlds, and, you know, they'll get a kill, and then they start doing the emotes. And I'm like, yo, like, focus on the game, just win, you know, don't troll. But it's a strategy, like you said,
Because they see that, and they're like, dude, I just got killed. And they're just making fun of me with their little, like, whatever, bad. It's just like, dude, it's just like, dang.
And that's what pisses you off the most. Words don't affect you as much as spamming emotes.
Well,
or messages.
I can't complain because I do the same thing, dude. It's the camera they can't keep up with us.
It's the camera can't keep up with us. I like that perspective.
Subscribe so we can get better cameras.
He was just ending off his point with, so you're for or against it?
It's a double-edged sword. Yeah, it sucks, but at the same time, it's brought me like so much joy and just fun. It's worth it.
It's like almost with the whole emotes, it's like encouraged now. Because they don't allow you to do it only 2 times. They allow you to just
Some games have a cap. I've hit that cap a lot.
Here's like, yo, I know about this. All right, so just to give my last thoughts on it, or actually, Andrew, go for it.
I'm for it.
For it. No, he's not even going.
He's like, yo,
what games do you play? Just name them.
Well, I mean, Call of Duty, obviously. Yeah. And then GTA 5, obviously. With GTA 5, you get booted off.
Okay, but you still for it. Then.
Oh yeah.
All right. Based off his games, you guys can tell he's for it. My thoughts on it, and I'll be very brief, is I think it's cool. I mean, it's like very interesting and it's very different than any other world. In the gaming world, you are allowed to say some pretty wild things, and it's kind of an escape in the sense that you can essentially say whatever you want without anyone knowing who you actually are. To one of Jared's earlier points, you normally wouldn't say those things in front of someone or to their face. So going on to Hector's point, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I think it's cool. I mean, obviously, I don't think a lot of people should. I don't think a lot of changes should be made. I mean, obviously, like there is, like you said, a line, and you can't cross that line. But I personally am not. I'm not saying I'm not for it. I'm not really toxic at all. I'm actually someone that just tries to fix the situation if I can. Because there's always a way to win, right? Like, I care about winning, you know? Like, I'm not trying to start any fights with anyone. I just want to win.
It was like that TFT earlier. Like, the guy had Moonlight. I had Moonlight.
Yeah.
Like, I beat him, and I was like, stay in your place, Moonlight. Like,
yo, stay in your place.
And like, Mr. 100, I was like,
But he was a jerk, though.
Yeah,
But
he
his
was
response, yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And then like the Mr. 100, I beat him, and I was like, "Ain't no Mr. 100 no more." And it was like, "You mofo, no!" And I was like, "I don't even come in. I'm mofo."
What was
like,
hilarious is like he fell so far down. He was like
Yeah, he got
100.
fifth or sixth. Like he
Yeah.
was like 100 for like 70.
That was my level 3 Garen game. Once everybody had a build, I just fell off of that.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, I think it's, it's cool in some ways because, like, I work in different fields, and when I got back into gaming, I was blown away at how far it had gone when it came to toxicity. Because I didn't play it in about 5 years. I stopped playing around 21. But I do think, like, maybe we could get better. Some people, most people, they're like you had mentioned earlier, some people will say pretty mean stuff, like, let's say, do something, yeah. I feel like that stuff is pretty far.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's just not.
It's not, yeah.
Because some
big
people,
cool.
it's
Cool.
like, dude, some people could take it literal, and then like,
Yeah, it's messed up.
and like if that actually happens, like,
And again, like, everyone
Don't
who's,
be that mean to people. Don't
yeah, that's kind of my point. Like, I just want to convey that, like,
we don't encourage bullying.
right.
Any
100%. No, we do not encourage that. I think, like, if we're playing a game, whatever game it is, and you're speaking to people in that game, they have far more similarities with you than they don't or against you. They're very similar to you. They're playing the same game you're playing. They probably enjoy a lot of the same aspects you enjoy. And, like, again, like, one of the constant things we talked about today and yesterday is that it's an escape, it's fun. Gaming is just a cool place and something that a lot of people are enjoying more and more. And so, like, I think it's just cool to be nice with people and just try to, consider it and not too cool. So maybe if we were slower to anger, slower to toxicity, I think that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, because like some people do get angry really quickly. Some people have anger issues. It's like you say shut up, and like that'll blow them up.
Yeah.
And so it's like I guess it's totally dependent on the people, but yeah, I would say for the most part, try to keep it cool.
Right. But going back to Jared's comment, I do think that it's really smart. Is like if it's gonna get to the we can all have fun, maybe be a little toxic here and there, but if it gets to the point where the other person is negatively affecting you in like a really bad way, just mute.
Dude,
just step away.
That's why those buttons are there. They would not have those buttons there if they're not to.
Yeah.
Like I know I've had plenty of games in League where like I said, you don't let something from someone else that you don't know affect you, but like it could be like they're talking so much smack about your skill or whatever. It's like, dude, I know I'm not this bad.
I'm
Like,
just having a bad day.
bad game or a bad day or whatever. And so like that will piss me off, and then I'll just mute whatever. I gotta just mute you, and then like just keep trying. And then I'll mute them, see what they're saying sometimes. And then you mute them back if they're still talking smack. It's just like, it's
All
what it
right.
is.
So to end it off, fourth.
Yeah.
Fourth. It's too
So,
funny.
yeah, in the gaming aspect, yes.
100% for it.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I think it's cool. You get to express yourself. I do think like, maybe channels take it so far. It's cool to, talk some stuff anyway. All right, you guys, that was podcast number 2. It is now, what time is it? 11:09. Yeah, we did an hour. We're gonna be doing this. Yeah. Okay, we're like we're trying to upgrade stuff. We're gonna get external hard drives, more RAM. We probably need higher capacity SD cards. Because right now, what are we running? 64s? No, we're running 64s. Yeah. 120. I have one. Yeah, I have one 120. You have 120? I have one 120. Alright, so we have 2. So that's very good. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. If you guys watch this whole thing, we really thank you guys. We hope to continue doing this daily. And if you guys have any questions, or if you guys have any thoughts, ideas, please feel free to share. Yeah, whatever. You guys have any last words?
No, let us know your thoughts on toxicity, and tell us some of the most toxic things that has happened to you or that you've done. Let us know some funny stories. Yeah, definitely. It's funny to see I smooch your mom all day.
That's just number 2. That's literally top of my list.
Top of his
So I'm
list.
saying, like, some people just think of like the funniest comebacks, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah,
It's just like,
All right, any last words, actor?
Nah.
Alright. Andrew? Alright.
Yeah, those words.
Sean?
I do have something I want to add.
Good,
I changed my mind. Like everyone's saying, leave comments. But another thing to mention this episode, in case I did not watch last episode, do leave like questions for us that you want us to answer.
Oh, yeah,
Certain
definitely.
things,
Absolutely.
certain things, game related or electronic.
Yeah, we're pretty good at a few things. We're great at marketing. We're pretty decent at business, and we are all gamers at heart. We've been gaming pretty much our whole lives.
Yeah.
What's up? Game. That's so hard to say. And we're pretty knowledgeable in esports as well. I love esports. Follow that religiously. So if you have any of those questions, feel free to ask. And that's it, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you guys watching this far. Thank you for taking a follow or watch it, whatever you do.
Thank you.